Hey everyone, today I'm going to talk to you about BLING alphabet, which is my latest alphabet pattern. It was inspired by cut glass of all things. The pattern shows you different ways that you can piece this alphabet to get a different look or feel with the various effects. But this video is to show you about the cut glass effect, which is, as you can see here, this here is I have a quilt in progress, and you can see that the letters have sort of these little faceted sections, and it looks like the light is coming from one side and then the other side is in shadow. And so this requires a little bit of organization with your fabrics, which is what this video is going to show you how to do. I'm going to prep for the letter W, and this is being made for the We Are Alive quilt, which is the quilt that I designed for Bruce Springsteen, a modern day heroes project by Donna DeSota in the States, which is a fantastic project. The fabrics for this quilt was sent to us by Northcott, and we're using the Colorworks premium solids. And what I love about the premium solids is they have a fantastic range of colors. So if you have a look there, you can see the huge color range that they've got. And for this cut glass effect, you need about 5 or 6 tints in the same color palette, if that makes sense. So if you have a look at these ones, you can see it's all within the same sort of color palette, but it goes from sort of light to medium to dark, with about 5 or 6 shades. And I find that the Northcott Colorworks has such a great range that it really gives you the ability to do that. So the reds we're going to be using are these guys. You can see we're actually using white as our lightest shade, and then we have 5 different red tones here that are going to make up our letters. So let's get started. So W, because of the size of the letter or the width of the letter, actually has 2 pages. So those are the 2 pages of templates from the pattern. And as you can see, it's got 4 of these verticals and 1 middle panel. So if I show you, zoom in here, you can see the little diagram here shows you the red lines are the outline of the template sections. So there's 1, 2, and then that's W5, and then 3 and 4. So you're going to piece these 2 verticals first to each other, then these 2 verticals to each other, and then this one to the centerpiece and this one to the centerpiece. So most of the letters have the verticals are made out of 2 different tones, and that creates the main letter shape, and then the little faceted areas are on top of that. So the templates are labeled accordingly. So the main letter area is labeled text, and that would be these color verticals that you see here. And then the little diamond areas there are the faceted areas there. And you can see, if you look close up, you can see the diamonds. Each diamond is made up of 4 sections. And so here too, it would be made up of 4 sections on the 2 different templates, W1 and W2 here. So those 4 triangles would make up that 1 diamond over there. And the diamonds are labeled with little diamonds, so you know which area you're piecing. So it's all clearly labeled for you to make it easier for you. When this pattern was in testing, one of my testers said to me that she just needed more than just this little diagram here and the labeling on here. She said, I want it bigger, where I can see it very easily, where I can color in, and where I can plan my fabrics. So what I did was, aside from the pattern itself that has the templates, I designed a second document which you get with the pattern, and this is your planning document, and this gives you everything all in one place. So you have a larger version of the color image, and then you have a larger version of the coloring page, because the pattern has a coloring page but the pieces are little. So that gives you the larger version of that coloring page, and then it gives you the templates at 50% size, so that if you want to make markings on these templates, you can, or any kind of if you want to see, for example, what the section numbering is and then translate it to here, you can do that too. So you can see how this translates to that. Okay, I'm checking in here. Is all of this detail making your head spin? Because if it is, don't worry. I know that some people really like to have a lot of creative input, and they like to be able to customize everything and work it out and use the coloring blocks, but it's not for everyone. So if you're one of those people that likes to be told exactly what color goes where, as long as you've got your little pile of the 5 or 6 tints within the same color zone, I give you the exact labels on that pieced block example, and you can literally just copy those onto the template and then go from there, and you'll be just fine. So don't stress, just do whatever works for you. Let me show you how it's done. So we're going to label these A, B, C, D, E, F. So I start, the first letter is with the lightest and I work my way up to the darkest. And you can see that on this planning page, it actually has it all broken down for you. So if you find planning your own version too complicated, it's all there for you. And all you have to do is take the letters that are on here, set up your swatch palette over here, label them A, B, C, D, E, F, and then you'll know which letters are which colors. And then what you do is you take your templates and you just label them A, B, C, D, E on the templates as well, so that as you're piecing, it tells you exactly which color is which, and you'll reference the swatch page as you go. So let's do the swatch page, shall we? So these are my colors, as I mentioned. So A is this one and F is this one going down. So I'm going to put a little piece of these colors onto my little swatch palette at the bottom here. So as you can see here, I've cut out a small piece of each color, and I'm just going to stick these onto the page where the swatch palette is. And now I'm just going to write A, B, C, D, E, F to label them so that I can reference them while I'm piecing. Next up, I'm going to take these ABCDs within this example here, and I'm going to write those letters on the templates themselves so that I can reference when I know I've got a D piece coming up. I go, oh, D, that's that color, and then I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to use a pencil for mine. I recommend using something that looks different to what's on the template themselves, because you don't want to get confused between the piecing order and the fabric. So either a pen that's a different color, one that isn't going to run if it gets wet from your steam, or just a pencil or a pencil crayon possibly. So I've cut my templates out. You can see here I have W1, W2, W3, W4, and then W5. And so I'm going to use these exact labels that I have here and just transfer those onto my templates. So let's start with W1. So of course on the piece block example, W1 is on the left and it goes this way. And of course this is the template, so it's back to front, so it will be that way when it's pieced. So it looks opposite to that. So starting at the top one's A, the next one is B, then it goes A, B, and then this area of the text is C. So I just go C, 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 C. And then this over here is going to be the background fabric behind the typography, which in my instance for the We Are Alive quilt is actually going to be banner. But I know the background here is banner, so that's good. Then I do the next one. And finally 5. Now, interestingly with this one, you can see that the long stripe goes here, and of course on the template it goes backwards. So this one's an easy one to get confused with. So I have to remind myself that this long one here is actually going this way here. So that's E, that's D, that'll be B, and that'll be C. So now they're all labeled with the individual fabric labels, but one last thing that I want to do is just remind myself which side is light and which side is dark. As you can see in this example, I have the light coming from the left-hand side, So this one is light, and then the next half is dark, and this half is light, and that half is dark. And the reason that I'm going to label my templates with that is because when you're piecing a whole word, it's quite handy to collect all the lights from all your letters in the word and piece all your light sections together, and then piece all your dark sections together. It's just a little bit more efficient. So W1 and W3 are light. So I'm going to go here, light, and W3, oh, I've got this in the wrong order here, that's W3, so that's light, and then W4 is dark, and W2 is dark. And you can see they're not labeled light and dark on here, but you can see they're light and dark on this piece block example. So I've got all my templates that are labeled over there. Then I've cut the little example from the templates page that I can just keep with it just as a reference point, and I'll clip those together. And if I'm piecing a bunch of different words, I'll do this for each word, but it's just handy to keep them all together. So when I go to piece, I've got my fabric swatch palette here, and I'll take let's say I'm going to start with my two lights. That's these two. So I'll take my two lights, and then I've got my reference here. So I'm going to start off with a number 1 section is C on both of them. So you can see that's why it's quite handy to piece all the lights together. So they're both starting with C. Then I go to my beautiful pile and I go A, B, C. That's the guy I want. And then I've got my fabric ready to go and I can piece. Super handy. So I really hope this was a helpful tutorial for you to help you get organized while you piece your letters. Have fun. So that's it, friends. I really look forward to seeing what you make with this pattern. I'm really excited about it. It's probably my favorite alphabet so far. Of course, it can partner with the BLING Dingbats, which give it a whole other level. You get banners and a bunch of little doohickeys and details that you can spice up your text with. And if you make anything with BLING, please tag Happy So Lucky and BLING Alphabet Pattern or BLING Dingbats Pattern, whichever one you're using. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you found this tutorial helpful, leave me a comment or a like, and feel free to follow. That would be great. Take care.